welcome to the It Factor. We're Jimmy and Nye, exploring a new blog post by Mr. Len Kaplan, CEO of CDML, a managed service provider in Queens, NY, offering network management, voice over IP, unified communications as a service, cybersecurity, compliance, infrastructure as a service, cloud solutions, and Microsoft 365 and Azure solutions. If you're a small business owner or manage IT for a growing organization, this episode is for you.
Absolutely.
So today we are taking a deep dive into an article titled Why Your Favorite Browser Extension Might Be a Data Leak Risk. And the mission today is really to pull back the curtain on those tiny little icons sitting at the top of your web browser.
Right, the ones everyone uses every single day.
Exactly. Because it turns out those little seemingly harmless tools might actually be like the biggest blind spot for your company's sensitive data.
Yeah, they really are a massive blind spot.
I mean, think about it like this. Installing an unvetted browser extension is like putting a state-of-the-art security system on your office doors.
Oh, I like this analogy.
Right. And the biometric scanners and everything. But then you just hand a master key to some random helpful stranger in the lobby just because they offered to organize your filing cabinet.
That is exactly what is happening. And, the reason that happens is because we just think of extensions as these passive little add-ons.
Yeah, just a neat feature for the browser.
Right. But they aren't just add-ons, they are actual software. And the real danger isn't even necessarily the code itself, but where that software lives, it lives inside the browser.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Because the browser isn't just a window to look at web pages anymore.
Exactly. The browser is essentially the workplace now. It's the exact same place where you employees are logging into their email, their banking, human resources file.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the HR portals.
Right. HR files, customer relationship management tools, or CRM tools, and all these highly confidential documents. Everything happens in that one application.
So when you install an extension, it's just sitting right in the middle of all that sensitive traffic.
Precisely. And this is where the big IT bypass happens. Because traditional endpoint protection, like your standard antivirus software, it's looking for programs trying to install themselves onto the computer itself.
Like downloading a weird executable file.
Right. But extensions don't do that. Employees can just go straight to the extension stores and click install without ever asking IT for permission.
Wait, really? The security software just ignores it?
It ignores it because the browser is already a trusted application. The security system sees the browser running and just assumes everything inside it is perfectly safe.
That is terrifying. Just completely bypassing all the approvals.
Yep, completely under the radar.
Real quick, for you listening, if you are finding this deep dive helpful so far, please just take a second to click the thumbs up button. It really helps out.
Definitely. So since these things bypass IT so easily, we have to look at why employees install them so willingly. And it basically comes down to this illusion of safety.
The popularity trap.
Exactly. The popularity trap. People see an extension with like 5 million users and they think, well, it must be safe for business data, right?
I mean, that's what I would think. If millions of people use it, someone would have flagged it.
Right. It lowers your caution. But popularity does not equal security. Even perfectly legitimate tools, grammar checkers, PDF tools, translators, AI assistants, they often have to read the content on your page to function.
Right. They have to see the text to fix the grammar.
Exactly. And in doing that, they can capture screenshots, read your text, and actually send that information out to outside servers. Len Kaplan brings up a really specific example of this in the article.
Oh, yeah, the Cider.ai tool.
Yes, and we should make it very clear, Cider.ai is not malicious. It is a real legitimate tool.
Right. We aren't saying it's a virus.
Not at all. But Len uses it to prove why businesses need to be so careful with the fine print. Because if you actually read its privacy policy, it says it collects usage info, and crucially, it collects viewed content and communications.
Wow. Viewed content, meaning whatever is literally on your screen.
Exactly. And it gets worse for a business because the policy also says it shares that information with third-party service providers.
Like who?
Like Google, Cloudflare, and Microsoft, and they have very long retention periods for this data.
Okay, but wait. I have to push back here on behalf of the listener. Doesn't my company's expensive firewall catch this kind of data leaking out? I mean, we pay a lot of money for network security.
That is such a common assumption, but it's totally outdated. You see, to a traditional firewall, an extension sending sensitive data out to the internet just looks like normal encrypted web traffic.
Oh, because of the secure connection.
Right, it's encrypted. So the firewall just sees traffic going to a legitimate cloud service and lets it right through. Like I said earlier, the browser is no longer just a window, it's the actual workplace, and it desperately needs its own security.
Okay, so firewalls won't save us. How does a small business actually fix this without just banning every single useful tool? Because employees will get so frustrated if they can't use their favorite grammar checker.
Yeah, you can't just ban everything. You have to shift from blind trust to managed risk. Organizations have to start treating extensions like actual business software.
Not just casual, personal preferences.
Exactly. Len provides a really solid checklist of questions an organization has to ask before they approve any extension.
I love a good checklist. What's first?
First, what permissions does it require? Does a simple color picker tool need access to read your entire hard drive? Probably not.
Right. And then can it read data from all sites or only specific ones?
Exactly. And you need to ask, does it send content to outside servers?
Which we just learned is a huge deal.
Very huge. You also need to find out if user data is retained, shared, or used for analytics by that company.
Are third parties involved?
Yeah.
Like the Google or Cloudflare example?
Yep. And finally, does all of that actually match our specific compliance and data privacy requirements?
That is a lot to think about. And just as a quick reminder for you listening, new blog posts packed with insights exactly like this checklist are published every Tuesday and Thursday.
They are super helpful.
Definitely. So asking all these checklist questions basically means we have to look way beyond the firewall. Which brings us to how CDML Computer Services actually solves this for growing organizations.
Right, because doing that checklist manually for every employee is impossible. CDML helps organizations reduce this hidden risk by focusing on how employees actually work today.
So what are the specific solutions they use?
Well, Len mentions several in the text. They start with endpoint management and Microsoft 365 security reviews.
Okay, so locking down the devices in the cloud.
Exactly. And then they implement browser protections and EDR.
EDR.
Sorry, endpoint detection and response. It basically watches the behavior of the device to catch things the antivirus misses. They also use ITDR, which stands for Identity Threat Detection and Response, because hackers want your identity now, not just your laptop.
All right, if you get your login, they have everything.
Exactly. And CDML rounds all of this out with zero trust planning and regular security awareness training. Because if your team doesn't know what the risks are, the tools can only do so much.
Education is so critical.
It really is. I highly invite you to visit cdml.com and subscribe to their blog so you can stay safe, informed, and compliant.
Yeah, absolutely do that. But before we go, I want to leave you with something to act on right this second. Open your browser right now and just look at the icons up in the top right corner.
Do it right now.
Ask yourself, do you actually know what those tools are reading on your screen at this exact second? We're Jimmy and Nye. Thanks for listening. Till next time.